Hello. Hi. Welcome. Today is Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Ed, what's up? Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Um, yeah, hi. We're here. We're here for the Thursday live stream. Um, been a busy few days, eh? Been busy. Yeah, good. Good. Things are good. Things are good. Yeah, things seem to be going in the right direction with the project, right? Um, yeah, happy. Very, very, very pleased. Pretty happy with how the latest video. Hey! Oh, sunny Portugal. Lovely. Hey, Brian. That's awesome. Little vacation. Well deserved. Well deserved. That's awesome. Um, yeah, things are good. Things are good. Um, Yeah, I thought the new video turned out pretty well. Been working on my shot composition. So, yeah, I think it turned out okay. Still kind of difficult to get the breadboard in the shot so that you can see all the connections and stuff. So it's kind of a work in progress, but I'm pretty happy with the progress that I made with that. So, anyhow, um, yeah, what else? What else is going on? Um, so we got a few more Patreon people, which is great. Um, so that's good. I think we're up to 13 now on the Patreon, so that's good. Hopefully they're, um, you know, going to be following along as well with the project. That's the hope, so that we get that compilation at the end, right? Um, so yeah, that's really good. The channel's doing pretty good right now. I'm seem to be going up again in terms of subscribers, which is great. Um, Seems to come and go in waves. I think I'm at 585, so that's pretty good. It's not bad, eh? It's very pleased with that progress. Yeah, 585. So it's not bad. We're getting close to 600, which is really neat. Um, yeah, happy with that. Happy with that. We're getting somewhere, I think. So that's really good. Um, yeah, Discord's going well, I think. I think I'm going to be posting a few more projects that I've done. Some are some are less polished than others, but kind of just like experimental things that I did, and some other stuff that I did when I was in college. I thought it would be kind of fun to post. Some of them are music related, some aren't, but I thought it would be kind of a fun thing to keep going. So I'll post something soon, probably today or the next day. And then yeah. So hopefully uh people are going to follow along with that power supply video. I am going to be putting a a big disclaimer at the beginning of the next video for sure, because I really want to make it abundantly clear that you have to be really careful when you're doing power supply stuff, right? Um, the direction that you have the capacitors are super duper important. I think I made that clear in the video, but um, yeah, yeah, exactly, and you're following the directions at your own risk. I don't want anybody to get hurt making this thing. I want everybody to be super careful. It's really important that you're very careful. Especially when you plug things into the wall, right? You got to be super duper careful about that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, I just want everybody to be safe. So there'll probably be a something similar to this at the beginning of the next video, just being like, "Yo, be careful, be careful out there, people." You know. So, anyways, oh, I sold a few more things last week, which I'm very pleased about. I am completely out of the Eurorack game, which is nice. I sold a few more all my the rest of my Eurorack modules. I had a couple more of the Roland Ira Eurorack series. Um, so I sold those, and I sold a Behringer. Did I mention that last time? I think I did. I mentioned I sold a Behringer um, oscillator. But yeah, I sold the other two Eurorack modules that I had left. Yeah, they are still on strike. I actually started using UPS, went to the UPS store, and they're actually quite good. Um, it just gets complicated when you're shipping outside of Canada. Um, uh, so yeah, I was lucky that on Reverb I had Canadian buyers for my stuff. So that worked out really well. So yeah, I'm completely out of the Eurorack game now. So that's one less thing that I have laying around, but we'll probably get into some Eurorack stuff or that kind of thing in the future. Like when we're looking at making some synths and stuff like that. I also sold my Korg SQ1, which is just like a little, it was like a little 16-step sequencer. You've probably seen them. They've been around for super long time. Um, at least I'm guessing 10 years now. So yeah, I sold that. Very pleased about that too. What else? Yeah, I got more stuff to post. Hopefully in the next little bit. Uh, the one you made the first sampler based on. I had the no, the SK one is the Casio keyboard. That was the one that I based the first sampler on. The SQ one is it's like just like a MIDI sequencer. Here, let me see if I can pull it up here. It's like just like a little MIDI CV box. Here, let me show you, Ed, what I'm talking about. This guy here. I'm just going to move myself out of the way. Let me just turn that off and I'll show you what I mean. This guy here. You're sure you've seen that thing a million times. Million times. They're very popular. Um, yeah, it's a handy little device, but definitely within the realm of being able to make that for sure. Yeah. Been looking at a treat for myself to a Korg Wave State. Ooh, Wave State. Yeah, sure. Yeah, do it. Do it, buddy. That looks like a fun little synth. Um, I haven't had anything that glamorous from Korg. Most of the stuff that I've ever owned from Korg has been kind of the mid level stuff. Like I had a what do you call it? A monologue for a while. I sold that. Um, yeah, it was a cool little synth, but it's just like a basic mono synth. And I had like one of those Korg Volca FMs, which was pretty cool. It was neat because you could load patches from the DX7, right? Which is really neat. And then I also had one of those a oscillator, like the little handheld ones, the older style ones, and I had one of the mini Chaos pads too, which was really cool. I still have a couple monotrons left that I actually am selling. So yeah. But yeah, I love the Korg stuff. I always find that their interface and the way that you work with it is just really intuitive. They're really good at designing really intuitive um, interfaces. I find anyway. That's just me. Maybe, it just depends on what you like, I guess. But anyway, what else? What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that I'm gonna be trying something new on the weekend live streams. Um, I know that I had been doing like a beat making thing on the live streams, like where I've been messing around with um, kind of like, whether it be the SP404 or just like hooking up my guitar and stuff like that, or um, what do you call it? Or just like making beats with like Ableton or Ableton Note, that kind of thing. And I'm just kind of like, it just doesn't feel like it fits yet into kind of what I'm trying to do with the channel and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be shifting gears a little bit on Saturday, and because I'm realizing that I really don't have that much stuff built for um, making music with, right? So I'm gonna be trying to figure out like a little project a week that I can completely dedicate myself to in like an hour, hour and a half, and build it during the live stream, and then eventually it'll be part of my setup. So I'll start doing like, little passive modules or little preamp modules, distortion boxes, little synth voices, stuff like that. So it's going to be more building based until I get more stuff made, so that um, so yeah, so that eventually when I get back to more beat making stuff in the future, when we have the S3-1200 done and everything, I'll have more stuff to play with than just sort of like the stuff that I've built for the channel so far, which is like the Atari Punk console, the clock, the master clock thing, and the Atari Punk console with the 16-step sequencer and the Baz Fuss and the little amp that I made. Like that's really not a lot to make music with, right? Oh, and the sampler or whatever. Um, but yeah, I just want to get like a little project that I can just do in an hour, you know, breadboard it, maybe just throw it on some perf board, put it in a little, crappy enclosure and just call it finished. So I'm just like accumulating more stuff every week. Otherwise, it's just going to take me forever before I actually uh, will start making music again, right? Brian says, if in the future you're looking at synth builds, have a look at the alpha remake of the CEM synth chips. Okay, cool. Yeah, that synth that you built sounds fantastic. It really does. Sounds great. Very impressed. Very impressive um, with how that sounds. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that though. That sounds really cool. I know there's a lot of like really simple stuff that can be done, right? But yeah, so that's kind of the shift that I'm gonna do on the weekends, which I think will be cool, because the other cool thing about that too is I'll be able to take that live stream then and like edit it down, hopefully, to kind of like a usable video for the channel as well, right? Or just even a short, which will hopefully help the channel grow a bit more again and get more people involved in what we're doing here. Um, yeah, I think that would be. I think it seems like a smart thing to do, you know. And then, as I said too, like I have more stuff to make music with um, in the future. So yeah, that's the plan. I think that's a good plan. I enjoy that plan. Anyway. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show you guys. Check this out. I got this at the thrift store the other day. $2. Look at that. Incredible bongo band. Bongo rock. $2. This is a classic record. If you're into like break beats and stuff like that, $2. It's a little bit the sleeve's a little beat up, but that's okay. Nothing like a little double stick tape won't fix. Yeah, no, that would be cool too. But yeah, This is awesome. This is an awesome record. It's got classic breaks on here. Um, yeah, go listen to it. It's fantastic. It's really cool. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys this because I was very pleased that I found that. That's a good record to find at Goodwill. Not gonna lie, that's a really good record to find at Goodwill. Yeah, and then before we do the MIDI through stuff, I wanted to show you this too. I didn't this I've had for a while, but I've been reading this again. This is issue 45 of the Wax Poetics, and there's a whole article in here about Detroit techno, and sort of the foundation of Detroit techno, and also Chicago house. And it's a great article, and I've read it a million times. But you can digitally subscribe to Wax Poetics, and I think you get all the back issues digitally. But I highly suggest checking out this article. It's a really enjoyable read, and they give you like a whole bunch of really cool releases that they put out in the early days of techno. That is just really interesting to read. I just find it really interesting to read. I love music. I love music history stuff, and I love especially early electronic music stuff. I love that kind of thing because it's just got a different vibe to it. The sound of it is just way different than what sort of electronic music has become. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just really like it. I just wanted to share that with you all because, like I said, I just like music history stuff. Um, but yeah, there's a really cool part about in it with uh, they talk about kind of like how the two scenes of Chicago house and Detroit techno were kind of happening at the same time, and how like DJs like Frankie Knuckles and Ron Hardy in Chicago, who were doing kind of like original kind of like house stuff, were influencing the guys from Detroit, which is really neat. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's just really cool. That's all I have to say about that. So, anyways, so yeah, we're since it doesn't look like anybody's around asking questions, so which is totally cool. And so what we're gonna do is I've been putting off looking at the MIDI through circuit on my sampler. I know that it doesn't work, and I'm 93% sure what the issue is, and I will share that momentarily. Um, so I've actually got the correct circuit um, pulled up here. So uh, this is what a MIDI, excuse me, this is what a MIDI circuit should look like, essentially, right? So you got a MIDI in. Uh, this is what my MIDI in circuit basically looks like. Okay. And I know the MIDI in works on my sampler for sure because I was controlling it with the BeatStep Pro. Um, so I know this is correct. It's the MIDI through. I wasn't getting any output on the MIDI through. I was hoping that I could just send like clock information. So I was looking over my schematic, and I'll show you guys here what I so yeah, so let me go to my schematic. So with my schematic, I've got my MIDI through coming out down here. Would it be a matter of correcting the PCB or circuit bending, I guess? Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a little modification. We're going to cut some traces and stuff. I'll show you. We'll get to that. Because there's some issues that we're going to run into. So one of the things is this is all correct. Okay, so this is my MIDI in. This is my MIDI in circuit. This is all correct. This is my MIDI through, which is, I believe, correct. Sorry, let me go back over here. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so MIDI through. Am I coming off pin 4? I'm not coming off pin 4, but that might be a different opto isolator. Um, oh shit, did I do it wrong completely? Oh no, that's correct. Oh, oh no, wait, that's right. That's right. Where's MIDI through? Sorry. Oh, MIDI input right here. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. All right. Yep, I'm good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so yes, that's correct. Okay. Um, I'm just looking at the signal path here. But it is correct. So I'm taking the MIDI input and I'm going through an inverter, right? And then I'm going to a 220 ohm resistor, and then I'm going to pin 5 of the MIDI through jack, which is correct pin. But the issue is that if you look, I keep clicking to the wrong schematic. Apologies. But if we look at this little diagram here, there is a second inverter. There's a second inverter right here. So you so the MIDI through comes in here. It goes through an inverter. You invert it once and then you invert it again. And then you go to the 220 ohm resistor. And then you go to pin 5 of the MIDI through jack. So the problem is now what we have to do is we have to cut the trace at the 220 ohm resistor, right? And this output of this inverter has to go into pin 3 of the next inverter, which is the input of the next inverter, right? Now, the problem is that I had to, according to the data sheet for the 7414, which is our inverter IC, um, you have to ground all the inputs that you're not using. So that leads us to a couple different options. Um, and let me pull up my, boom, look at that. So that leads us to a couple different options. Okay, so the problem is we have two problems. Okay, so this is our pin 3 on our chip too, right? Let me see if I can get that a little bit bigger for you guys. One sec. Let's see if we can zoom in. Look at that, eh? Look at it. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger, eh? Zoop. Look at that. Isn't that great? Okay. So pin 3, the problem is that the way that I did the PCB is I did a polygon pour on the top and the bottom of the PCB. And what that means is that, for those who don't know, is that all this blank area, all these blank areas where there's no traces, is ground. Okay? And same with the bottom. So anywhere that there's not a trace on the bottom is ground. Now, the thing is when you do a polygon pour, what it does is it takes the pin and creates like um, little pathways for it to connect directly to ground. So the issue is that this pin 3 is going to be grounded on the top and on the bottom. Okay? So the issue with that is that I can't necessarily break the connection between the ground planes on both sides without physically removing the socket and removing the material. Uh, yeah, Yeah, exactly. And so there's a couple different ways that we can do this, right? One of the ways that we can do it is, and this is probably the easiest way, is cut the trace to the 220 ohm resistor, okay, which is on the back of the PCB. So we can just use that with an X-Acto knife, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to take pin 2 from this device and we're going to run a little wire over to pin 3, right? But what we're going to do is sorry, I'm going to bend pin 3 so that it's basically outside of the socket so it won't be grounded anymore. So it's kind of a hacky way of doing it in order to invert it again. Now the good news is that since pin 4 is just floating, so it's not grounded at all, which is really good because then we can just jump from pin 4 to our 220 ohm resistor, and that should get MIDI through working on on this device. So I'm gonna do this all right now. So I'm gonna take out this socket and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do. And actually, I'm going to cut the trace. So just gonna get a little screwdriver so I can pop it out of the socket. Oh, you'll be happy to know my concert got rescheduled. It actually got rescheduled. I was shocked. It's not till next year in January, but very pleased that my concert got rescheduled. So I'll be still seeing Talib, which is great. I'm looking very much looking forward to it. So so with the IC here, what we're gonna do. Whoa, you guys got that was a serious close up of my fingers there. Who's at the door? Somebody's at my door. That's okay. I don't care. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, hmm, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take pin 3 and I'm just gonna bend it up. It's definitely not gonna be pretty, but it should work. Okay, so that'll break the ground connection. Okay, so that's what I've done there. So we're gonna take pin 2 and we're going to connect it directly to pin 3. Okay. In fact, I might, since we're cutting the trace for ease, I might just lift pin 2 as well and then just make like a little solder bridge. Hey, Tango the cat, what's up? Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you coming out. Um, yeah, we're just going to welcome to the live stream. We're just working on my sampler here that I built. Fixing the MIDI through circuit because I didn't quite do it correctly. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bridge across these two pins to connect them. And then pin 4, we should be able to just solder directly to uh, the 220 ohm resistor right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the board now and we're going to cut the trace from pin 3 or yeah, we're going to cut the trace, sorry, from pin 2 to the 220 ohm resistor. And then we should be good. So let me turn on my soldering iron too, and then we'll do that. Okay. So it's going to be kind of difficult to see, I think. But can you guys see that trace right here? It's pretty thin, but it's the trace going from pin 2, which is the output of the first inverter, right? To the 220 ohm resistor. So we're going to break that connection. Um, Let me grab a. No, I don't need that, actually. Um, so probably the easiest thing to do is I might use this as like this little tiny screwdriver is like a little scraper. And I'm going to scrape off a little bit of um, the green layer, and then I will actually physically cut the trace with a X-Acto knife. Okay, so let's try getting some of that off. I've also got my multimeter here so I can test whether it's actually connected or disconnected. So I'll show you guys how we're going to do that too. Let's see if you can see how I just exposed a little bit of copper there. Let me get a, what do you call it? Q-tip. Get some of that dust out of the way. Okay. All right. So you can see, let's see if I can get that. Where is that? Oops. See that? So it's just a little bit exposed, right? And now I'm going to cut that, and then we'll test to see if the connection's actually broken. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. The good news is too is that there's not a lot of other traces in this area, so I should be able to cut it pretty cleanly. It gets complicated when you're cutting traces and there's other traces very close by, right? So let's see here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this first. Let me show you what I'm going to do. It's getting cold here too. I was wearing it's been cool in the mornings, but it warms up ish. But yeah, it's getting to be that time of year. It really is. Let me back out a little bit here for you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing with the multimeter. So what I'm doing is um get okay. Um let's see if I can get that. Okay, here we go. All right, I might just remove myself for a moment so you guys can see the multimeter. Okay, so now I've got it in the multimeter. I've got it in this diode slash continuity mode. And then I press select. And what that does is that when something is connected, it's going to beep, right? I don't know if you can hear that beeping, but it beeps. Okay. So when I put my one of my my leads on pin 2 and on the 220 ohm resistor, I get a beep. Okay. You probably can't hear that. My what do you call it? My microphone isn't that great. I need to get a real deal microphone. Anyway, um yeah. So that turns on. So now I'm going to cut the trace and then test it again. And if I don't hear a beep, that means that um The connection's broken. All right. Okay, no beeping. Great. So I don't hear any beep. And as you can see, there's absolutely no movement on the meter itself, because when they are connected, you get a little bit of a reading, right? And there, nothing. Okay. So now what we can do is put me back on here. And yeah, so now we can put the chip back in, and then we're going to make a little bridge connection between the two, between pins 2 and 3. And then we're going to take a little wire and run a wire to our 220 ohm resistor. And that should do it. That should be our MIDI through circuit working. Now the cool thing is that I still have like I guess 3 or 4 more. Um, I think I have 4 more of these PCBs left. So I would actually like to build all of them, in which case I can just modify the those circuit boards before I even build it, right? All right. I'm just gonna straighten out the pins with a pair of pliers here. So you have to be pretty delicate with this stuff because, um, yeah, they you can definitely damage these pins. You get like one chance with bending these pins, really. Um, they're they won't take a lot of bends. Okay, so we're gonna get this guy back in. Okay, now I might grab a pair of tweezers and try to bend these a little bit higher, just to make sure that they completely clear the ground plane. But again, what we could do is we could take our multimeter and do the exact same test as we did last time to make sure that they're actually not touching the um, inside of that IC socket. So any of these pins here, so this pin here is connected to ground. So it looks like it's cleared. And this pin here doesn't look like it went in properly. One sec. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, it's one that I made. It's a board that I made, so it's not a, it's, it's a little sampler. Oh, it broke. The pin broke. See? They're very delicate. But I might have more of these. Let me take a look. Yeah, that one broke. That really sucks. Yeah, it's a board that I made though. Yeah, it's just like a little sampler. Let me see if I have more of these chips. Just give me one sec, guys. Now I could definitely still use that, but it'd probably be easier just to get a different one. Um, but here we go. There we go. We got some more there. So we're going to bend these two again. Okay. You know what I'm going to do this time? I'm going to get some tweezers. I just solder a piece of resistor lead onto it. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that chip, but I'm just gonna go with a different one, just a new one for now. That's a really good idea though. I'll do that for sure. Okay. These sockets aren't the best either. Like they're a little bit on the tight side. Oh shit. Come on. All right. There we go. That's better. That's better already. Okay. I think can't tell if they're touching or not. Let's do our test again. Make sure that we're not touching ground. Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's okay. We are good. We're good. Okay, let's um let's make this connection here, and then we will run a piece of wire from pin 4 to that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? But yeah, I should be able to still use this chip. It's just yeah, I'll have to do what you said, just um solder a little piece of wire to it or something. All right, let's bridge that connection. Let me grab some, maybe I'll grab the little piece of wire and we'll do it that way. I grab my side cutters. All right. Okay. So, yeah, that'll work. All right. Let's just put a little bit of, just going to use a little tiny bit of flux just to make it a little bit easier. Just got to be careful that it doesn't connect on the inside of the IC socket. Because that would really suck. I think that's okay. All right. So, okay. And then my tweezers. And I'm just going to take this little tiny piece of wire and tack it in place. It's not the most elegant way of doing it, but you know, do this. All right, just double check that these are connected. Okay, that's connected. Let's just make sure they're not connected to ground. Nope. Perfect. Okay. Now we need a piece of wire that we can run from pin 4 to pin to that 220 ohm resistor. So I just need like a little tiny piece of, um, I don't know, just just a little piece of wire. Um, you know what? I think I might have one over here. I'll just use something like this, just a little stranded wire. I'll do yellow. I like yellow. You guys like yellow? Hey, it's not a true. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's not a true prototype. Very true. And then, hmm, I guess I could do it on the bottom, eh? That would probably be better because, um, I could make a cleaner connection, uh, from here to here. So let's do that. So, I don't know. We need a little bit of wire there, maybe like so. And then I need to grab my wire strippers. Okay, I did. I did. Uh, I severed the connection. I'll show you. Let me zoom in a bit. So I really want to get rubber feet for this thing, but that's another video. Um, I severed the connection of pin 2. So, um, which is so what I did is I severed the connection between pin 2, which is the output of the um, of the first inverter, to the 220 ohm resistor, and the 220 ohm resistor goes to the MIDI through. Okay, so what I did is, because we need to invert it twice, right? I severed the connection here, so it's no longer connected. It's just a floating pin. Then we connected that output to the input of the next inverter. And now the output of this inverter, which is just floating, it's not connected to ground or anything, is going to be connected from here to the 220 ohm resistor. So this trace is just nothing now, right? Because we're going to put in this little wire here. Okay. I have tiny rubber bands, but I don't know how useful they would be. Oh, rubber feet, you mean? So yeah. So I'm gonna take. So I'm just gonna hit the um, that pin, and then with a little bit of heat, and that should complete that connection. And then we're gonna take this and connect the two there. Okay. I'll show you. So just dipping in a little tiny bit of flux, just make our lives a little easier here. So that's pin 4. So I think that did it. Might need a little more solder. Okay, that did it. Oh, rubber hands. Understood. Gotcha. I was like, rubber bands? What are you talking about? All right. And then we need to connect this side to here, right? Just a thought, is there a non-inverted version of that chip? Uh, that's a great question, Brian. I don't know. That's a really great question because yeah, I really don't know the answer to that. But that would be super easy, wouldn't it? All right, so now I got pin 4 to 220. Let's just double check that it's connected. Boom. And then we can also check um, by plugging in a MIDI cable, right, into the MIDI through, and then we'll test the connection there as well. So let's just shrink this guy back down for a sec. I think I'm going to invest in like a proper microphone for these live streams because it would be really great if you guys could hear all the beeping and stuff, you know? But it's the way that the on my MacBook, it's like it's the way that they've designed the microphone. They've designed it so that it like eliminates background noise, but it sucks because then like little noises like that, you guys don't hear them, right? And I think it would be way cooler if you did. So let's grab a MIDI cable. So I'm just going to put the MIDI cable into the through for right now, and then we'll test. Um, so pin 5, I believe, is that one. Is that pin? And so what we're going to do is we're going to go pin 4. Got one lead on pin 4. Are you... Oh, wait. Shit. No, that's wrong. That's right. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to get continuity like that. So, doi. Doi, doi, doi. Okay, great. Now we need to test something out to make sure this thing works, right? So I've got my BeatStep Pro. Okay, I got my BeatStep Pro that will hook up. Let me just move some stuff out of the way here. I guess we could also test with the scope, uh, but we'll worry about that later. All right, let's just test with, you know what I'll probably do too? I'll probably put some hot glue on there at some point too, just so that it doesn't mess with that too much. Let me just grab my BeatStep Pro, which I'm also going to be selling in the future because I've got a Arduino Duo that I'm going to use to make a BeatStep Pro-esque device. Um, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that microcontroller, but it's got a ton of I/O on it. Um, yeah, so definitely gonna try doing something with that because it's a really cool board and it's yeah, it's just really good. So BeatStep Pro, right? And you need to power this guy. Okay, so BeatStep Pro is on. Um, you guys can't see that. That's okay. I guess that's okay. Okay. Um, so let's stop that and then let's get one of the dongles. I think it's the gray one. I think it's the gray dongle. That's MIDI out. So we'll go MIDI out and we're going to take that MIDI out and we're going to go into the sampler, right? Okay. We're going to go into the sampler. Now the MIDI through, I have another device to hook up. So this is just my little analog pocket. It's got a nano loop running on it. No, it's a bit bigger. The do is a bit bigger, Brian. I'll show you one sec. But it's a cool little thing. I bought it a couple years ago, but I with the intent of building like a full-on MIDI sequencer thingy, but I never got around to it, and I bought a BeatStep Pro. Um, so let's get Nano Loop going, and then so this should tell us if we're getting at least clock signal from the BeatStep Pro through the through circuit on the sampler and to another device, and that should at least be enough for right now, right? So let's do this. One sec. How do you do this again? I think it's system one you want to be on. Okay, so it's a bit bigger. I'll grab it in a second. I just want to test this out first, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Add another MIDI cable. Where did you go? Oh, behind me. Yeah, same. I've got a bunch of Unos that I got in school, and I really need to figure out something to do with those. Um, I had a bunch of micro ones as well, or not micro, but you know the little. I'll show you that I used for a bunch of projects that I was doing when I was working. I was trying to make I was trying to do stuff with sensors, like um, hooking up a bunch of like temperature sensors and then like spitting out a frequency based on the temperature. Okay, I should have also put a power button on this thing. Doo. Okay. Yep, that did it. That did it, which is great. I think it's just clocking a bit fast, but that's on this side, I think. Yep. So I'm pressing play on the BeatStep Pro, and I'm getting clock data through. So that's all that was wrong with my MIDI through circuit. Yay! Aren't you excited? There we go, guys. I fixed it. That's great. So now the cool thing is now I can build the rest of these and hook them all up together, right? And actually sync them all. So I could have like essentially I could have like five of these little samplers hooked up all together and clocked with the same clock. And in theory, uh, yeah, play different stuff on each of the samplers, which is really cool. Which is really cool. So yeah, very pleased with that. Thank you for hanging out with me while I did that, guys. Really appreciate that. That is awesome. I'm very excited. Um, Give me one sec. I just want to get that Arduino do so I can show Brian. One sec. Where did it go? Oh, all right. Cool. Let's I'm gonna blow myself back up here. Well, I'm very pleased I got that fixed because I knew that it was a simple fix I had been because I had it breadboarded at one point and I had the MIDI in circuit breadboarded at one point, but I never tested the MIDI through circuit. That was my own stupid fault, you know? But the good news is now we can use this in our SP-1200 or S3-1200. But Brian, this is the one here. See, look at all that I/O on there. It is insane. It's a really cool microcontroller. I don't know what the actual count is on this thing, but it's pretty significant. Pretty significant the amount of I/O on this thing. So my plan is that I would love to make some sort of like beat step esque device with this. Um, because I just have so much, there's just so much I/O on here. Um, that it should be doable, even with like if I have to go to like multiplexing for some stuff. Um, yeah, and the other cool thing about this is that USB MIDI is native on this as well, so it could literally replace the BeatStep Pro in terms of uh, the um, in terms of being able to use it with like a DAW kind of thing. But yeah, so check that guy out. And then I've got a bunch of yeah, I've got actually I should show you what I else I have here. I have a bunch of those. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's got I could don't quote me on this, but I feel like it's like a multi-core. It's like a multi-core thing. Don't quote me on that though. Don't quote me on that. I could be completely off. But yeah, this one's really cool. And then yeah, I've got a bunch of Unos that I don't know what I'm gonna do with. I've got these like third party Unos. And then I've got this little guy with TT Go with like a little screen on it, which is kind of neat, but I know there's like some dead pixels on the screen, which kind of sucks, but could figure out a use for that, maybe. That might be a kind of a neat little project too. But yeah, and then I've got, I don't think they're micros, they're nanos. That's what it is. It's nanos. I've got a bunch of projects um, that are kind of like in varying stages of completion with nanos that I'd like to uh, rekindle um, my my desire to finish them properly. Because I had one that was like my it was a nano and I had like a bunch of like just like light dependent resistors hooked up to them, and I took different values of the light dependent resistors, and then I added all the data up and then spit out the average, and that average um, I converted to frequency, and then that frequency um, I outputted like a PWM signal based on that. So it's kind of like you could do these kind of like theremin kind of things with it, which was pretty neat. So yeah, I'd like to get back into that stuff. Maybe that, will be part of the Saturday stuff in the future. But this Saturday, actually what I do need to do is, and one of the things with this guy that I screwed up on is that the line in signal for this guy needs a little bit of a boost. So I might build a little tiny preamp for it Saturday night. Just like a little transistor based preamp that I can power off of 5 volts or something. And then we're gonna have so I can take like a line level device and actually sample it into this thing. And then I'll be flying like a lion. But I'm going to do that, but I'm also thinking it might be a good idea to kind of see how I've got the two jacks here. I was thinking because I don't actually have like a volume output on this as well. So I think I might make like a little breakout device that will have two 3.5 millimeter jacks that'll go into here. One will be an input with one will be an input with adjustable preamp on it, and then one I'm going to have um, off the output. I'll have like a volume circuit, so that I have volume control out of this thing too. That's something that I might do on Saturday night. Get all these little bits and pieces done, and get this thing working well, and then yeah, and then start building some more stuff on Saturday night. I think that's going to be really the key moving forward. I want to build actually the exact same mixer that Ed built, the little passive mixer. I want to build that for sure, and I do want to look into the synthesizers that you built. Um, I don't, I feel like it's stuff that I could just like chip away at in a live stream without doing like a formal video, and then I could just take that live stream footage and edit it down to um like a proper video, or not even a proper video, but just sort of like a more relaxed kind of like vibe video, you know what I mean? So yeah, I need to get more stuff built because right now I don't have enough stuff built. So yeah, anyway, definitely interested in building more MIDI controllers. Sweet. That one that you did, yeah, that one that you did, the one that I was saying is kind of like an auto harp thing. That is really cool. It's a really, really cool device, Brian. I really dig it a lot. Oh yeah, I was wanting to make it an active mixer with the NE55 Bright. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like passive modules are great to start off with for sure. Yeah. I think I just would like to try a passive one just to see how it turns out. Um, I've actually also got a DoD, um, a vintage DoD passive mixer that I think would be kind of like I might do sort of like let's build an inspired version based on that, and then maybe the next video I'll do like an active one. But yeah, the passive mixers are nice though, right? Because you can use them for all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. You can use them for just attenuation of signals, stuff like that. So, and that's all stuff that like I've built stuff like that in the past, but I don't have any of it right now. I got rid of a lot of it and now I would like to have it back. So I might as well just rebuild it, you know? Yeah. And without power, I mean, how many power bricks do you need, right? Yeah. So, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Saturday nights, as much as I liked the beat making stuff, I just feel like it wasn't really fitting in with the other stuff that we're doing on the channel yet. So, um, yeah, I really want to get it set up so that I've got enough gear made that I can just make music with the gear that I've made, right? And then it kind of makes more sense um, in terms of the format of the channel and stuff, and also towards the goal that I have of having a studio of gear that I've made that I can make music with and that kind of thing. So, anyhow, yeah, there you go. So I think I'm going to price out how much it's going to cost to populate the rest of these guys. And then, yeah. Oh, Abnorm. Jeez. Woo. We're just finishing up, bro. Yikes. Jeez. It's okay. It's okay. How are the ducks today? They doing okay? Hope the ducks are doing well. Um, yeah. So anyways, yeah. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I'm around. Um, yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, that's about it for today, unfortunately. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I got planned. If anybody's got any questions about the power supply, feel free to hit me up. Discord server's open, Patreon's open. I'm available on Instagram, TikTok, that kind of stuff. So hit me up if you have any questions about the power supply so far. Um, yeah, next week during this live stream, we'll do the Q&A again just to make sure everybody's on the same page with that last video I just posted. And then what else? I'll probably have something else to fiddle with. Yeah, I forgot to mention, actually, now that um, I was pricing out yesterday, I was on eBay and I saw a couple 6560 chips for sale on uh, for the VIC 20. The They were like asking, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. They were asking about $150 Canadian. $150 for one chip. So my thought is that the VIC 20 might come back, but I might just buy a used VIC 20 for $50 and hope for the best. Because honestly, it's uh, something that I want to get working again, and I do want to get the sound working on it. Um, but yeah, I thought that was insane. Um, Especially when you could buy them for $50 to $100 used. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Um, I just got to find the right deal, you know? I just got to find the right deal and then I'll pull the trigger on it and then we'll get that VIC 20 fixed and incorporate it into the setup. So, yeah, just wanted to give an update on that because that we've been sitting on that VIC 20 for a while. You guys are probably wondering what the heck's going on with it, or you forgot about it completely. Anyway, yeah. So, anyways, thank you all for showing up. Abnorm, nice to see you. As always, Ed, thank you again for coming. Brian, um, Brian, hope you enjoy the rest of your vacation. Hope the weather is fantastic in Portugal. Yeah. Oh, great. Yes, yes. Let me know about the TDM DAC. That's an ongoing project as well for me. And yeah, you're abnormal. You're absolutely right. Sometimes you just got to let it simmer for a bit, right? Put it on simmer and just sit back, as they say. Anyways, guys, take it easy. Hope you have the rest of your. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I will be online Saturday night to likely build another project. Okay, sound good? All right, guys, take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.